Students, welcome you all on the behalf of Rahul Anand Tutorials. So as you know that I am Rahul Anand and this is somewhat around my channel whose name is actually the Rahul Anand Tutorials. So now let's begin with the very interesting topics which are often being asked in terms of your NEET, often the aims, often the All India Pre-Medical Examination. So these are literally belonging from which of the chapters of your book? So these are belonging from these. Minute of the cell, the unit of light. So today we are going to study about what? So here we are going to study about this minute of the cell organelles. So when we are talking about means what are actually the cell organelles, so you are very clear about that. So these are actually what? So the components of the cell or rather the different components of the cell are coming under as well as regarded as what? So these are actually coming under the components of the cell. So now let's understand about these means in terms of the details, means what are actually the component of the cell. So in this case you will be having what things? So here we will be having the nucleolus, then what? Then the nucleus. Often you will be having the mitochondria as well as the rough endoplasmic reticulum as well as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Often you will be having the vacuoles as well as what? As well as the ribosomes. Then what? Then the lysosomes as well as the nucleus. Then the centrioles. Often in term we are often having the components such as the lipids, often the lipids. So we will be understanding about that here. As well as we are often having what things. So here we will be having the centrioles, then the vesicles as well as the lysosomes. So now let's understand about this in terms of the detail. Often you are having what things. So you are having the here in terms of the Golgi complex as well as the Golgi apparatus. So now let's begin as well as understand about this in terms of the detail. So when we are talking about this what? So when we are talking about this means what are actually the nucleus. So in the case of the nucleus, what will be present? You will be having the chromosomes, and on these chromosomes particularly what will be present? So these are actually containing the genetic material. Main in terms of what? Your chromosomes. After that you are having what things? After that you will be having the nucleolus. So now let's understand about these means what are actually the nucleolus. So when we are talking about the nucleolus, so these are particularly composed as well as made up of the two parts as well as the components in terms of the biochemicals or either the biomolecules. So what are actually these? So tell me. So these are the protein, then these are the protein as well as the red blood cell. So you are very clear about that means what are actually the protein are directly proportional for the larger or either the macromolecules of the amino acid, or either you could say that what are actually the amino acid just reverse the process means what? So amino acid will be the micromolecules of the protein. Often, so your protein are often being divided in terms of what? In terms of the four broad categories. So these are actually what? So these are the primary structure of protein. 1 degree structure, the secondary degree of protein, 2 degree structure, the tertiary degree of protein, 3 degree structure, the quaternary structure of the protein, meaning term of the 4th degree structure. So we'll be understanding about that later. Now, after that, we are often very clear about these means what are actually the red blood cell, means what? Here, meaning term of the what? Meaning term of this, meaning term of the arthrocytes. Now, so when we are talking about this means what are actually the lifespan course with reference in term of the human body. So it will be around how much? So it will be around 120 days in terms of what? In terms of the human body. Often you are very clear about this means what are actually the red blood cell as well as it will be found in terms of what? So it will be often present in terms of our blood as well as it will be often present in terms of what? In terms of the animal cell. So when we are talking about the animal cell, the red blood cell will be present. On the other hand, you are having the plant cell. In the case of the plant cell, what will be happening? So we will be not having these kind of the cells in terms of the red blood cell. So you are very clear about that. So in its name often we are having the red as well as the blood. So very clearly understand. So it will be present as well as in term with reference to what? With reference into the consequence of your blood. Now, so after that you are having what things? So you are having the Golgi complex as well as the Golgi apparatus. So these are often the sac-like structure. As well as you are having the endoplasmic reticulum in terms of the rough endoplasmic reticulum as well as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Mechanism of these are actually what? Playing important role in order for the transportation mechanism with reference of the food. Now, after that you are having the what thing? So you will be having the lysosomes. So now, let's understand about these means what are actually the lysosomes. Thus, when we are talking about these cases means what are actually the lysosomes. So you are very clear about that means it will be generally found with reference to what? With reference to your eukaryotic cell. Often it will be present in terms of the animal cell. But when we are talking about the case in terms of the red blood cell, so there you will be having the lack of these means in terms of what? In terms of the lysosomes. Often you are very clear about that means what are actually the role of the lysosomes. So these are directly proportional as well as known as what? So these are known as the self-suicidal pair. So when there will be particularly the cell in terms of the danger, so there particularly your lysosomes will play an important role in order for what? In order for secreting the vital of the chemical components which are directly proportional for the coordinates of what? Which are directly proportional for the coordinates of supporting or either defending or either offensive role. So in term when it will particularly be inferior in nature. Mean in term of what? Mean in term if your lysosomes are particularly smaller in number in term of your cell, as well as the enemy number are larger, then there will be the role as well as the mechanism of what? So there will be the role of the here mean in term of the offensive, as well as when the particularly presence of these mean in term of the lysosomes will be particularly greater in term of what? In term of your cell. Thus after that the role of defensive mechanism will be employed. So these are often known as the suicidal death. Thus in the critical as well as the adverse condition with reference to the cell health, it will play an important role to secrete the vital components which play an important role for what? Which play an important role to kill the cell in order to maintain what? In order to maintain the healthy status with reference to the healthy cell, as well as these will be killing of what? Of the cells of these mean in term of the here mean in term of the ill cell or rather the pathogenous, which is having the vital kinds of the symptoms of the infection. Now, so these are often known as what? So these are often known as the highly fluid viscous substances when we are talking about the case of what? The lysosomes, as well as directly proportional for what? So these are known as the self-suicidal bags. Now after that you are having what? So now let's understand about these means what are actually your ribosomes. So when we are talking about what are actually the ribosomes, so you are very clear about that. So these will be present in term of what? So these are actually the smallest cell organelles when we are talking about these case in term of what? In term of your cell. So in the case of the cell, you will be having the smallest portion or rather the smallest organelles or rather the components directly proportional occupied by what? So it will be occupied with reference of the none other things with reference to what? With reference to these only meaning term of the here meaning term of the ribosomes. Now when we are talking about these cases means in term of the ribosomes, so these were particularly discovered by which of the scientists? Tell me. So these were actually discovered with reference to the Palade. So Palade was the scientist who particularly demonstrated it. Now when we are talking about these cases means what are actually the ribosomes as well as its components. So these are often being further divided in terms of the two broad categories. Means what? Then in terms of the 70S ribosomes as well as the 80S ribosomes. Now, so when we are talking about the case of the 70S ribosomes, it will be having the two components such as we are having the larger subunits as well as the smaller subunits. Directly proportional. When we are talking about the case of the smaller subunits, it will be occupied with reference to what of the value? Tell me. So it will be around 30S. As well as when we are talking about the case in terms of the larger subunit, so it will be directly proportional for the here in terms of the 40S. After that you are often having what? So after that you are having the 80S ribosomes. Thus in this case we will be having what kind of the mechanism? Thus in this case you will be having with reference to these meaning term of what? Here means what? The 20 as well as on the other hand you will be having the minus. So minus particularly after that you will be getting the coordinates of the 80S ribosomes, as well as these are often having what things meaning term of your here meaning term of the 70S ribosomes as well as the 80S ribosomes. So this will be having the proteinase substances in term of what? In term of your globular protein. Remember? So we are having the globular protein directly proportional for what case? Present, as well as these are quite a bit soluble in nature. After that you are often having the different components when we are talking about these cases in term of what? In term of the cells. So you are having what? So we are having the lipids. So now let's understand about these means what are actually the lipids. So these are what? So these are the natural occurring organic substances. Often these are quite a bit what? So these are not soluble with reference to your water, mean in term of the H2O molecule. As well as what are actually the role of these when we are talking about the case of the lipids. So these are directly proportional, playing an important role to provide the mechanizing support with reference to the cell. Now, so you understand about these means what are actually the lipids. Now, so let's proceed with reference. So you will be often having the what? The different components in it. So we are having the mitochondria. So your mitochondria is known as what? The powerhouse of cell, as well as it is particularly composed of the two words. Means what? The mitose directly proportional for what? Mitose directly proportional for the thread-like projection. As well as when we are talking about the case of the chondrions. So chondrions are what? Tell me. So chondrions is directly proportional for the granules, and granules are actually what? So granules are just like the here, mean term of the smallest stone or either what? The micro bodies like structure present in term of your here in term of the cell. Thus these are known as what? So thus these are known as the here in the micro bodies. Fine. Now, so let's understand about these means what are actually the another components. So we have deal about the nucleus. Then what? The nucleolus. After that, we have often deal with reference to the here mean what are actually the Golgi complex as well as the Golgi apparatus. So now let's understand about this means what? Means your plasma membrane in terms of the detail. So when we are talking about the plasma membrane, so you have to understand the certain facts in it, such as in terms of the plant cell, you will be having the presence of what? So you will be having the presence of these what? The plant. In terms of the plant cell, you will be having the presence of the plasma membrane. When we are talking about the case in terms of the animal cell, so you will be having what? So you will be having the leg with reference to what? With reference to the plasma membrane. Often when we are talking as well as when we are talking about these cases, means what are actually the role of your plasma membrane. So you are very clear about that. So it will be doing what? So it will be particularly providing the specialized shape as well as what? So it will be providing the specialized shape as well as the structure with reference to your cell. Often when we are talking about these cases in terms of the plasma membrane, so these are often known as the cell membrane as well as what? So these are often known as the selectively permeable membrane. As well as when we are talking about in this case in terms of what? In terms of your plasma membrane. So these are playing important role in order for what? So in this case you will be having what things? So you will be having the cytoskeleton. So your cytoskeleton with reference to in terms of the cell organelles. So it is often the part. Now, so let's understand about these means what are actually the skeleton role in terms of this, in terms of the plasma membrane. Fine. So your plasma membrane as well as what? So your plasma membrane as well as the lamella will particularly combine in order to form what? In order to form the skeleton of actually the plants. So you are very clear about that means what are actually the skeleton role. So it will be having the particular role in terms of the growth as well as the development with reference to the coordinates of what? With reference to the coordinates in the shoot region. Often you are having the different types of the pores as well as the parts in it, such as the xylem as well as the phloem. We'll be understanding about that later. Now, so when we are talking about these cases in terms of these, it's what? The plasma membrane. So these are often playing important role in order for what? Playing important role to provide the support. When we are talking about these cases, means what are actually the role with reference to your plasma membrane or your cell membrane. So these are playing important role for what? These are playing important role in order to protect the cell with reference to what? From the external environment. So you could often find it on the board here. As well as when we are talking about these cases in terms of the plasma membrane, then what? Then the cell membrane. So these are playing important role for what? So these are promoting the mechanism of the cell protection. Often you are very clear about that means what are actually the cell protection roles. So thus these are often given the name of what? Given the name of the thin elastic membrane. Fine. Now, so these are often playing important role to separate what? To separate the particular cell organelles. And you are very clear what are actually the rest cell organelles as well as the parts from what? From actually the external environment. Means your cell wall in terms of what? In terms of the plasma membrane. So these are actually the same name. So these are playing important role to separate what? To separate particularly the cell with reference to what? With reference from the external environment. Now, so let's understand about the another facts in it. Fine. So you would often find it on the board here. So when we are talking about these cases in terms of what? In terms of the cell wall as well as what? As well as the plasma membrane. So these are quite non-living in nature. But when we are talking about these cases in terms of the protoplasm, so your protoplasm are particularly living in nature. Often. So your non-living component means what? Directly proportional for what? So these mean in terms of the cell wall as well as the here in terms of what? The plasma membrane are quite non-living in nature. As well as these are particularly being secreted. Fine. So these are particularly being secreted with reference by the help as well as the mode of what? By the help of these only mean in terms of the protoplasm. So it will be present where? So it will be actually present with reference to the middle pores. In terms of what? In terms of your cells. So find it on the board here. As well as when we are talking about these cases in terms of the plasma membrane as well as the cell membrane. So these are quite a bit what? So these are quite a bit non-living in nature. Often when we are talking about these cases in terms of what? In terms of the protoplasm. So these are quite a bit what? Living in nature. Often playing important role to secrete. So these mean in terms of what? Mean in terms of the protoplasm playing important role in order to here in order to secrete the non-living component. Directly proportional for what? Directly proportional for the cell membrane as well as the here in terms of the plasma membrane. As in terms of what? As in terms of the byproduct. So you are often clear about that means what are actually the byproduct. So remember, so in terms of the chemical reaction, we are having the two hand side. In order what? In order of the reactant hand side, then the product hand side. Now, so let's understand about this in terms of the details. So you could often find it on the board the particular structure of the protoplasm with reference ingredients are present with reference encoded by what? By actually your cell wall. Find it. Now let's proceed with reference to the next step. So in this case, what will be happening? So your byproduct and your byproduct are actually what? So your byproduct of the protoplasm are particularly being migrated with reference to what? With reference on the outer layer surface of your cell wall. So you are often very clear about that, means what are actually the role of the cell wall. Often known as what? Often known as the plasma membrane. So it will be particularly geogrified as well as radiated, meaning in terms of what? Meaning in terms of the byproducts. And here byproducts are actually what? So these are nothing else but your protoplasm. After that, what will be happening? So this will be particularly organized with reference to what? So this will be particularly organized with reference to the cell wall, often being specialized as well as appear with reference to what? With reference on the layer of the here in terms of the endoplasmic reticulum. Now, so let's understand about this in terms of the details. So when we are talking about the cell membrane or either what? Or either the plasma membrane. So these are oftenly being divided in terms of the three broad categories. So these are what? So these are actually the primary cell wall, then what? Then the secondary cell wall, then the tertiary cell wall. Now, so let's understand with reference to what are actually the primary cell wall. Directly proportional, known as what? So these are known as the elastic. Thus, when we are talking about these cases, means what are actually the primary cell wall. So you are very clear about that. So in this case, what will be happening? So your first wall or either the primary wall are directly proportional as well as secreted by what? So these are particularly being secreted with reference by the mode of what? By the mode or either the mechanism of your protoplasm. And you are very clear about that. Means what are actually the protoplasm. Remember in terms of the diagram we have viewed. And after that, so these are oftenly being known as what? So these are known as the elastic membrane. Remember? So your primarily in terms of the cell wall or either one or either the here in terms of the plasma membrane, these are often known as the elastic membrane. Often these will be particularly having the composition of what things? So this will be having the composition of your here in terms of the cellulose, then what? Then the hemicellulose, then the lipase. So find here. Now let's understand about this, means what are actually the primary cell wall. So when we are talking about the case of the primary cell wall, so these are actually what? So these in terms of the primary cell wall or either the first cell wall are particularly being secreted with reference by what? Are particularly being secreted by these only, mean the protoplasm. Remember? So we have just viewed about the coordinates as well as the structure. So it will be present in terms of the middle portion of what? Of your cell as well as organized, protected with reference by the here in terms of by the help of the cell wall. Now, so when we are talking about these cases in terms of the primary cell wall, so these are often having the different types of the broad categories in it, such as what? So these are known as well as particularly composed of what things? So these are being composed with reference to the elastic membrane. Often these are having the different types of the vital of the substances, such as what? Such as the cellulose, hemicellulose. So find here. And actually what? So after that you will be having the pectin. As well as when we are talking about the second case in terms of what are actually the secondary cell wall. So in this case what will be happening? As well as when we are talking about this case, means actually about the secondary cell wall. So in this case what will be happening? So as per the growth in terms of the secondary cell wall, which will be occurring rapidly, and after that what will be happening? So there will be the accumulation of the substances in terms of what? So there will be the accumulation of the substances in terms of your primary cell wall. So you are very clear about that. So these will be particularly being processed with reference to what of the states. So it will be coming under your secondary states, meaning in terms of what? Meaning in terms of the secondary cell wall. Thus, this is somewhat a condition when we are talking about the plasma membrane. Often you are having the another type of the facts as well as the more here in terms of the models in it, in terms when we are talking about the case of the plasma membrane. So these are actually what? So these are the fluid moistic models. So it is having the certain types of the vital components, such as you will be having the lipids as well as the lipase, often the proteins. So we will be understanding about that in terms of our next lecture. So I thought you have got the concept, means what are actually these, means what? Mean what are actually the cell organelles, often what are actually the different components of the cell organelles, in which we have dealt about the certain of the facts as well as the organelles in terms of the parts of your cell. So these are like what? So these are the nucleus, the nucleolus, the endoplasmic reticulum, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, then what? Then the Golgi complex, then the Golgi apparatus. Often we have understood about what are actually the centrioles. The quick introduction about what are actually what? What are actually the here in terms of the ribosomes, then what? Then the lysosomes. Often we have dealt about the briefing spectrum with reference to what? With reference to this, in terms of what are actually the, tell me, what are actually the plasma membrane. As well as we have often understood about the bit introduction as well as the role of the protoplasm in terms of what? In terms of these, in terms of what are actually the role of this protoplasm in terms of the primary cell wall as well as the secondary cell wall. Often you are having the certain types of the introduction as like in terms of these, means what are actually the cell evolution theory. Remember? So there will be having the certain types of the names of the scientists, such as what? Such as the Robert Brown, the Robert Hooke. Often when we are talking about these cases in terms of what? In terms of the evolution theory with reference to the cell. Remember? So we are having the different types of the broad categories as well as their significant role. In terms of what? In terms of actually your cell wall as well as the evolution in terms of what? In terms of the cell. theory. Now let's understand about this in terms of the here main term of the bit introduction. Now, so these were actually names of what the here main term of the Robert Hooke, that Robert Brown. Often you will be having what names. So often we will be having the here main term of the Matthias Scaldi, as well as the Theodore CH1. So this is somewhat the condition when we are talking about these, meaning what are actually the cell, the unit of life. Often we have dealt about the another type of the component. So if you like the work with reference to the education as well as the lecture, so you could often subscribe, like, as well as comment video in the text. Thus I'll be knowing that what concept actually you are hungry for, or what haven't you understood or rather got. So you could often subscribe, like, as well as share my lectures with reference to what? With reference to the Rahul Anand tutorials. So very thank you.